Good morning and happy Thanksgiving, Aces. Welcome back to the channel. So Diddy has been denied bail for a third time. He will remain in jail after a judge rejects his latest attempt for release, while the rapper and the music producer awaits trial on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. So the new judge has denied Combs' team their motion for release on Wednesday. His decision followed a 2-hour court hearing on Friday, where he appeared to explore potential options and question the prosecutor's allegation that Combs continued to obstruct the ongoing investigation. It says, quote, "The court finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community," the judge wrote in a 5-page order. And I appreciate this new judge and his discretion, right? Because that wisdom has protected a lot of people, a lot of potential, anxiety. A lot of people were saying that they did not feel safe, even with Diddy behind bars. Like he's still breaking rules behind bars, right? Using other prisoners, phone privileges, and just being manipulative, trying to manipulate his kids and that social media happy birthday video. And bless little Love's heart. She's just as precious as she wants to be, just singing happy birthday to her daddy, not knowing that that's being orchestrated by Diddy to push out, positive images via social media to the public. And it's like, it doesn't matter how many positive images he tries to push out, in my opinion. That ship has sailed. We all saw the CNN video. We've all heard the testimony of the countless, and I'm not even going to put a number on it because victims are still coming forward. I am in absolute agreement with this judge that Diddy needs to stay behind bars. Federal prosecutors argued that Combs could not be trusted on bail because he flouted the rules of the jail and the judge. They said that he posed a danger to women and was tampering with witnesses, even while in federal custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Prosecutors alleged that Combs tried to evade law enforcement monitoring by using several techniques, including three-way calling to contact witnesses. They also accused him of violating the judge's own order, limiting communications, and ignored his lawyer's guidance in part by orchestrating a social media campaign around his birthday to try to influence the potential jury pool. So I'm reading this article from CNN, and they basically just reiterated, right, my thoughts that he is trying to play puppet master behind the scenes. He needs to just stay behind bars, because if he's doing that much damage behind bars, there's no telling what he would do if they ever released him. In my opinion, I feel like, again, I'm of course going to go with the judge's discretion and their wisdom, but behind bars is the best place for Diddy in the long run, in my opinion. So the judge pointed to evidence that Combs was not following the jail rules, including the continued use of a messaging service in his decision. It says, quote, underscoring the court's concern, despite defense's counsel assurances to the court at November 22nd, 2024, that at that hearing, with Combs being in attendance, that Combs stopped using the Contact Me ASAP as of November 16th, that the government indicates that Combs has continued to use this service as recently as this past Sunday, November 24th, 2024. His attorneys have relentlessly pursued his release from federal custody, arguing that private security would provide more restrictions on Combs than federal jail. I don't know who they thought was going to believe that, but no one believes that. They said that Combs needed to be freed to help prepare his defense against the criminal charges and roughly 30 civil lawsuits alleging abuse. Again, how is he going to help his defense, right? He doesn't have a legal background. He has no expertise in the legal field. Again, that doesn't make sense. And I know that his defense attorneys are grasping for straws at this point. They're trying their best, but he's not giving them much to work with. He's not even being a model citizen behind bars. His attorneys identified a 3-bedroom apartment on the Manhattan's Upper East Side, where they argued that he will be surrounded by 24/7 security to monitor visits and phone calls. You mean the security that's on his payroll? He's had that his entire career. That hasn't stopped anything. They better ask Gene Deal and the rest of the bodyguards. Like, these bodyguards are not going to bite the hand that feeds them, literally or figuratively. That doesn't make sense. Under their proposed bail package, Combs would also post a $50 million bond. During Friday's hearing, the judge scoffed at the suggestion that Combs could stay at his home in Miami with a boat dock, saying that's not going to work. Exactly. Why would he need to be free, be on the water, potentially have an escape route, right? He could easily go through the Florida Keys and go to, the Bahamas are really close, and catch a flight there to Bali or some other country that doesn't, extradite U.S. Escapees, essentially. No, like the judge said, that's not going to work. Combs was previously denied bail by two other federal judges who found that there were no conditions that would assure them that he wouldn't try to obstruct the investigation or be a threat to the community. Combs initially appealed one of those rulings and then asked the appeals court to put that on hold while he tried again with this new judge who was transferred the case. So just because you have a new judge doesn't mean that the judge isn't familiar with the past legal, rulings and the legal precedent that considers Combs to be a threat to the community and to potential witnesses. He absolutely needs to be behind bars. And he's not even following the rules behind bars. Like, in my opinion, I don't understand why they haven't put him in solitary confinement, but that's up to the discretion of the judge and, the jailers. But from what I'm hearing, he is manipulating, the prisoners, having them clean up his cell, make up his bed, do his chores, essentially wait on him hand and foot like he's some kind of king behind bars. See, if I were the judge, right, I would take all of this into consideration. And after all of these multiple charges and after hearing all of this multiple evidence, it might be concluded that he might spend the rest of his life behind bars. Diddy's in his mid-50s? If they give him 30 years, 30, 40 years, that's essentially a life sentence. Or if he ever were to get out in his 80s or 90s, if he was blessed to live that long, then hopefully by then he wouldn't be a threat to the community any longer. But who knows? Diddy, after, Cassie initially filed her lawsuit, and then everything started pouring out as to just how sadistic and sinister his actions were, how he treated almost every single person that he came in contact with. I mean, I'm like, there is no way that he shouldn't have been behind bars much sooner, but people were really afraid because he did have so many people on his payroll, because he was so well connected and so wealthy. And yeah, I'm so glad that this judge used their discretion and took the other rulings of the two judges previously into consideration and saying, look, you're not even someone who can be trusted behind bars currently. What makes you think that we're going to let you out, especially near the water in Miami? Stop it. And I thought that Homeland Security, that they seized the home. So I guess when they did that federal raid, they were just looking for the tapes or the 1,000 bottles of baby oil or whatever, but they still left it in Diddy's possession. I didn't know that. I thought that home was seized by the federal government, as well as the home in LA. And then his lawyers they have an apartment in Manhattan. All that money is about to be gone in a Manhattan apartment. In a high rise with a legal team 24/7. That $50 million is about to be gone probably by the end of next year. When's his court date? Is Cinco de Mayo, I believe, next year, so May 5th. I wouldn't be surprised if they blew through all that money. You think three legal firms, a Manhattan apartment, they all have to eat. They're all billing him hourly. That 50 million is about to get eaten up really quickly. Um, but anyway, I'm really glad. I'm glad that the Diddy is going to be behind bars because there's no way that he needs to be out and about thumbing his nose at the legal system that he's been doing for the past how many decades. He hasn't had any respect for the legal system. In my opinion, he hasn't had any real accountability for his actions for all this time. And so the fact that he's learning this lesson in his mid 50s, it's unfortunate. It's better late than never. It's just unfortunate that so many people, suffered under just being around him. I don't like people like, real violent people, real just evil people. Like I would prefer to not be not be around them, not be in their presence. I don't care how much money they have or how much influence or power or whatever. Those things don't thrill me. I know everybody's different, but once you can see someone's actions and it lets you know who they are, like Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. You only got once, and then I will remove myself. I won't even necessarily even have to say anything, because a lot of times people are that volatile or violent or whatever, and I don't like to put myself in situations where I'm fearing for my safety. I can't imagine having to feel that way on a consistent basis. Um, yeah, like that's heartbreaking. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that Diddy is behind bars. Congratulations to, the judge for using their discretion and their wisdom. And I'm looking forward to the trial next year. I hope that whoever this judge is, uses that same discretion and that same wisdom and that judgment, right, that they've earned over their career, but putting the safety and the well-being of society at large at, in the forefront of their mind. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about Diddy being denied bail for the third time? I want to hear from you. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, guys. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.